You once couldn't get enough of her. You were the one always reaching out, planning, and giving your all to keep the spark alive. But something has shifted. Maybe you've grown exhausted from constantly pursuing, or maybe you've simply realized that your efforts weren't being reciprocated. So you've pulled back. You're no longer chasing her, no longer seeking her approval, and she's beginning to notice. Suddenly the tables have turned, and she's left questioning what went wrong. Did she take you for granted? Is this the beginning of the end? When a woman realizes that your interest has faded, her reaction can be more telling than anything she might say. It's a wake-up call for both of you. In this video, we're going to explore the psychological shift that happens when you decide to step back and prioritize your own growth. How does she handle the change? How does it impact the power dynamic between you two? You might be surprised at what happens next. Let's dive in. Number 1. The chase begins. It's a universal truth. We crave what feels just out of reach. The more something feels elusive, the stronger our desire becomes. And when you stop giving her your attention, when you pull back and start prioritizing yourself, that's when the curiosity kicks in. Why aren't you as available? Why is your energy different? This sudden shift can spark something powerful within her. Stoicism reminds us that relationships should be grounded in authenticity, integrity, and self-awareness. If your disinterest is coming from a place of personal growth, self-respect, or recognizing that the connection no longer aligns with your goals, that's where your strength lies. You're not pulling away to play games. You're simply realigning your energy with your own sense of purpose. As soon as she feels this shift, you might notice her reaching out more often, texting you first, initiating plans, or even asking what changed. This is her way of trying to recapture what she once had. It's natural for people to start realizing what they took for granted when they no longer have it at their fingertips. The key, however, is to let her come to you. Keep your sense of self intact without compromising your newfound boundaries. Picture this: a man who has chosen his own growth over chasing fleeting validation. He's not glued to his phone. He's not rearranging his life to fit her into his schedule. He's present in his own world, building his goals, enjoying his peace. That calm, grounded energy, it's magnetic. It draws her in, not because he's pretending to care less, but because he's authentically invested in his own well-being. At the end of the day, remember this: your worth isn't tied to her affection or attention. Whether she comes back or not, your inner peace should remain unchanged. If she returns, it's not about punishing her or playing hard to get. It's about evaluating whether the connection still serves who you are becoming. Let her reactions unfold naturally. Don't chase, don't obsess. Let your actions reflect your personal priorities and your values. If she truly wants to be a part of your life, she'll make that clear. And if she doesn't, you'll already be walking a fulfilling path on your own. Stay grounded in who you are, trust the process, and know that the right relationships will naturally come when built on respect and authenticity. Number 2, attempts to test your resolve. The dynamic begins to shift in a subtle but powerful way. As soon as she senses your detachment, she may start testing your boundaries. You might notice a shift in her behavior. Playful remarks now carry an edge, or she might drop hints about someone else just to see if it sparks any kind of reaction from you. These subtle provocations are not necessarily meant to hurt you, but rather to test the depth of your disinterest. She's confused, uncertain, and trying to gauge if your newfound detachment is real or just a temporary act. It's at this moment that many men falter. Instead of holding their ground, they react emotionally. They may rush to reassure her, desperate not to lose her, or they might lash out defensively, letting their frustration take over. But here's the hard truth: when you react, you lose your power. You've just shown her that she can influence your emotions, and that shift in the power dynamic often signals the beginning of the end. A Stoic man doesn't allow external events or emotional provocations to dictate his state of mind. He remains calm and composed no matter what's happening around him. If she tests you, take a step back and see it for what it really is. A reflection of her own confusion and doubt, not a call for you to lose your cool. Your response doesn't need to be dramatic. Instead, remain steady. Don't fall into the trap of over-explaining yourself or trying to prove anything. Your calm, unwavering actions will speak louder than any words could. Think of it like standing at the edge of a lake during a storm. The surface of the water may be choppy, shifting with each gust of wind, but the depths beneath remain still, undisturbed. That's how you should aim to be. Let her see that no matter the turmoil around you, you are not easily swayed. That inner calmness is magnetic. It demands respect, and it endures far beyond temporary emotions. What often catches women off guard is that true detachment doesn't mean being cold or dismissive. It's not about playing games or shutting her out. It's about maintaining enough inner peace to walk away without anger, regret, or guilt. That kind of composure is rare, and it makes a lasting impact. Most people react impulsively, letting emotions guide them. But when you remain in control and keep your dignity intact, you separate yourself from the pack as someone who values their own peace over drama and validation. At the end of the day, whether she decides to walk away or try to reconnect, you'll know that you handled it with strength and grace. You didn't cling to validation or engage in pointless drama. You showed her that you are a man who values his peace and can maintain control over his emotions, no matter the circumstances. That is a rare, powerful quality, and it leaves an impression that lasts long after the situation is over. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever been in a situation where someone tried to test your resolve? How did you react? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear your stories and insights. Or, if you're short on time, just type "I stay grounded" to let me know you're embracing the Stoic mindset. Your input helps build a community where we can all learn and grow together, so don't hold back. Number 3, her effort to win you back. Once she senses your distance, her next move often involves putting in extra effort to recapture your attention. You'll notice subtle changes. She may text you more often, carefully crafting her messages to spark a connection. Her tone could soften, becoming more affectionate or flirtatious. She might even start paying more attention to her appearance, perhaps a new outfit, a fresh hairstyle, or an extra boost of confidence when she's around you. Her attitude could shift too, with her becoming more agreeable, supportive, or focused on meeting your needs. Why does this happen? It's simple human nature. When something slips out of reach, we instinctively want it back. By pulling away, you've created a void in her life, and that absence stirs up a mix of emotions: curiosity, uncertainty, and sometimes panic. These feelings push her to act, even if she's not fully aware of why. Whether it's conscious or not, her efforts are likely an attempt to reclaim the place she once held in your life. However, from a Stoic viewpoint, it's important to recognize that while her actions may be flattering, they are outside your control. Stoicism teaches us to focus only on what we can influence and to let go of what we cannot. If her changes align with your values and seem authentic, you might appreciate them. But if it feels like a reaction to your absence rather than genuine growth, it's important to be cautious. Consider this scenario. You've distanced yourself because the relationship no longer serves your growth or well-being. Perhaps she wasn't honoring your boundaries or offering the kind of connection that allows you to thrive. Now, sensing the shift, she becomes more thoughtful, sending messages that seem more considerate or apologetic. She might suddenly become more present, listening to things she once ignored. Here's where Stoicism comes in. Ask yourself if anything has truly changed on a deeper level, or if this is just a response to the fear of losing you. Stoic philosophy emphasizes acting with intention and clarity rather than being swayed by fleeting emotions or external influences. If your pullback was meant to protect your peace, don't let temporary gestures bring you back into a pattern that doesn't serve you. You can acknowledge her effort, but always stay true to your principles. The key question is her effort based on genuine change, or is it a short-term reaction to her fear of loss? If it's the latter, expect this new behavior to fade when the fear of losing you subsides. But if it's the former, and her actions reflect real growth, then perhaps there's a path to discuss what the future might look like. Ultimately, remember that protecting your peace isn't about being dismissive or cold. It's about ensuring that the relationships you engage in contribute positively to your life. If her increased effort feels genuine, appreciate it, but remain grounded in what truly matters to you. The right relationship will support your growth, not detract from it. Stay true to yourself, because your inner peace is something only you can protect. Number 4. The emotional roller coaster. When a woman realizes you've pulled away, it can stir up a whirlwind of emotions inside her: frustration, sadness, confusion, and even longing. This emotional roller coaster is a natural human reaction to a shift in energy and attention. She might find herself bouncing between putting in more effort to win you back and retreating completely as a way to protect her pride. This roller coaster is less about you and more about her internal struggle, trying to figure out why things changed and what it means for her sense of self. Humans often place the highest value on what feels out of reach, and when your attention becomes less available, it creates a sense of uncertainty. She might start replaying moments in her mind, questioning where things went wrong, and wondering if she took your interest for granted. This reaction is completely natural, but it also exposes how much we sometimes tie our self-worth to external validation, a trap we've all fallen into at some point. Seneca once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." In moments like these, the true strength lies in remaining grounded amid the storm. Don't let her attempts to provoke a reaction or her moments of withdrawal disturb your peace. The ability to stay composed in the face of emotional turbulence reflects your self-control and inner strength, qualities that command respect and show that your value isn't determined by anyone else's behavior. By holding your ground and staying true to who you are, you're sending a powerful message. Your worth doesn't depend on external approval. This doesn't mean being cold or dismissive, but rather cultivating a calm detachment that allows you to remain unaffected by the ups and downs of someone else's emotional world. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control: our thoughts, actions, and reactions. You can't control her emotions, nor should you try to. What you can control is your ability to remain steady and unwavering in your own. Over time, she may come to respect this sense of emotional control. It may even prompt her to reflect on her own behavior and emotions. But more importantly, by embodying this calm, you're prioritizing your own peace of mind. That is the real power, remaining undisturbed by external chaos. Your true strength lies in showing that you're in control of your emotions, no matter how others act. So, the next time you see her struggling with your detachment, remember this: it's not your responsibility to manage her emotions. Focus on mastering your own. That quiet, unshakable confidence will speak louder than any reaction ever could. Now I'd love to hear your thoughts. How do you feel about the idea of staying composed and in control of your emotions in situations like this? Have you been through something similar before? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, or if you're not sure what to say, just type "Quiet confidence is my power" to show that you're committed to mastering your inner world. Let's keep the conversation going. Number 5. The silent observation phase. When words no longer seem to make a difference, something fascinating happens. She begins to observe in silence. Instead of focusing on your conversations, she starts paying closer attention to your actions. Every move you make, every decision you take, and every moment you're present or absent becomes a clue. She wonders, is he really over me? Or is something deeper happening here? Actions have a way of speaking louder than words ever could. Once you've distanced yourself emotionally, your behavior begins to tell a story, one that leaves her questioning everything. The delayed replies, the lack of interest, the calm self-sufficiency you now embody. These are the signals she can no longer ignore. She starts piecing it all together. This isn't about playing games or trying to teach her a lesson. It's about living with a sense of inner peace that speaks for itself. That tranquility in your demeanor is what makes her notice, perhaps for the first time, that you've shifted your energy away from her. In the philosophy of Stoicism, true detachment isn't about being cold or indifferent. It's about accepting reality as it is, without resistance or expectation. When you let go, it's not out of bitterness, but from a place of understanding and self-awareness. By prioritizing your own growth and maintaining composure, you're embodying ataraxia, a peaceful state of mind unaffected by external influences. She'll feel this subtle but powerful shift. It stirs something inside her because, at this point, it's no longer about her. It's about you reclaiming your own peace. Maybe, after weeks of silence, she'll send a casual message like, "Hey, how's everything?" Instead of rushing to reply or trying to read between the lines, you simply take your time. You respond when you're ready, polite, calm, but neutral. No urgency, no bitterness, just clarity. That single response speaks volumes more than any dramatic confrontation. What happens next is profound. She starts realizing that you're no longer seeking her validation, and that realization hits harder than any words could. What's fascinating is that this shift gives her the space to reflect on her own behavior, on her own feelings. She might start wondering if she took you for granted or if she misjudged your worth in her life. But here's the key. For this dynamic to work, your detachment has to be real. This isn't about manipulating or provoking a reaction. Genuine Stoic detachment means you've already made peace with whatever outcome comes your way. You're not ignoring her to make her suffer. You're simply protecting your own mental and emotional well-being. That quiet strength, that unshakable confidence is what she begins to notice. And sometimes, realizing that you've lost interest is the wake-up call she didn't know she needed. So as you walk this path, let your actions reflect the person you are becoming, not who you were before. Lead with peace, lead with clarity. And above all, stay focused on the one thing you can control, yourself. This journey isn't about trying to win her back. It's about showing up for yourself. And in doing so, you might just become the person she regrets letting slip away. Number 6. Rebuilding her emotional guard. When she realizes you've truly moved on, her response is often one of self-preservation. It's not necessarily about you, it's about her need to protect her emotional well-being. You might notice her pulling back or creating emotional distance. It may come across as indifference, but in reality, it's a defense mechanism. It's her way of safeguarding herself from further emotional vulnerability or potential hurt. This is where your approach becomes essential. While it might feel tempting to mirror her detachment or let pride take the lead, the Stoic way encourages you to meet this moment with grace and understanding. Stoicism teaches us that we can't control how others react or feel. Our power lies in controlling our own thoughts, actions, and responses. You can respect her space without letting resentment or ego cloud your behavior. It's never about proving a point or trying to regain the upper hand. It's about maintaining your own sense of dignity and inner peace. Let's say she starts pulling away, stops replying to your messages, or avoids engaging with you altogether. Instead of over-analyzing her behavior or trying to force a reaction, you can give her the space she needs while staying grounded in your decision to move forward. Show kindness and respect, but don't compromise your own peace or intentions. The real strength here is the balance between respecting her boundaries and holding firm in your own. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. This perspective is where true strength emerges, when you accept that her emotions and actions are outside of your control, and you focus on maintaining your own inner peace. When she realizes that you're genuinely at peace with your decision to move on, it may prompt a range of emotions within her. She may reflect on what led to this shift, question her own actions, or even feel regret. But your role isn't to manipulate these feelings or force her to confront them. Instead, your role is to remain a calm, composed presence, someone who doesn't need to tear others down to feel strong or validated. By practicing emotional self-discipline and living authentically according to your values, you become the embodiment of quiet confidence. This speaks louder than any attempt to prove yourself through words or actions. You demonstrate that your peace of mind is not reliant on anyone else's opinion or behavior, and that in itself is incredibly powerful. When you walk away with calm assurance, you leave a lasting impression. This isn't about playing games or seeking approval. It's about embodying the core principle of Stoicism, mastering yourself, and finding freedom in letting go of what you cannot control. By doing this, you show respect, not just for her, but also for yourself. If you've made it this far, it's clear you're committed to mastering yourself and approaching relationships with wisdom and grace. I'd love to hear your thoughts. How does this idea of rebuilding emotional boundaries resonate with you? Have you ever been in a similar situation, and how did you handle it? Share your reflections in the comments below, or just type "Strength lies in self-mastery" to show you're embracing the Stoic mindset. Your voice is valuable to this conversation, and I can't wait to hear your insights. Number 7. Attempts to spark jealousy. When she feels vulnerable and uncertain about your disinterest, she may resort to attempts to provoke jealousy. You might notice her posting photos on social media that highlight her life in the best possible light, whether it's nights out with friends, new adventures, or pictures with other men. She may casually mention someone who's been showing her attention or emphasize her newfound independence, as if to say, "Look how great I'm doing without you." These actions aren't random. They're often calculated efforts to regain control over a situation that feels like it's slipping away. As Epictetus wisely said, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This is where you have an opportunity to embrace Stoic philosophy and practice emotional mastery. When someone attempts to provoke you, whether through jealousy or other emotional triggers, the key is not the action itself, but how you respond. If you engage, even slightly, you're feeding into the story she's trying to create. But if you remain calm, detached, and centered, you maintain control over the situation, keeping your dignity intact. Think of jealousy like a fire. It thrives on reaction. When she posts a photo with another man or mentions someone else's attention, the urge to react might be strong. But a Stoic man understands that the only thing he controls is his own mind. Ask yourself, does this truly affect my peace, or is this just a test of my inner resolve? By choosing not to engage in these emotional games, you starve the fire. Your indifference sends a strong message, not of bitterness, but of unshakable composure. It shows that your peace of mind is yours to protect, and no one can take it away unless you allow them to. For example, if she posts a picture with another man or shares a story about someone else taking her out, resist the temptation to feel threatened or jealous. Instead, recognize it for what it is, an attempt to provoke a response. Take a deep breath, smile to yourself, and stay focused on your peace. Remind yourself that your worth is not dependent on her actions or anyone else's approval. This is where your inner strength shines brightest. Your silence and composure will speak louder than any response you could offer. It shows that you're not interested in playing games. Your happiness is not dependent on external factors. Over time, this calm indifference may have an unexpected effect on her. She might start questioning why you haven't reacted, wondering why you seem so unaffected. This uncertainty turns her focus inward, prompting her to reflect on what she might have lost. Your silence becomes the loudest message you can send. It's not about punishing her, but about demonstrating that you are someone who values inner peace over petty drama. The truth is, people are naturally drawn to those who exude confidence and self-control. It's magnetic. By embodying the Stoic principles of self-mastery and emotional stability, you not only distinguish yourself from others, but also demonstrate what it means to lead with strength and wisdom. You're not swayed by external noise because your foundation is built on something deeper, a respect for yourself and a commitment to maintaining your own peace of mind. So if she tries to make you jealous or flaunts her independence, let her. Watch with indifference and avoid judgment. Let your calmness speak volumes. In doing so, you preserve your power, maintain your peace, and show both her and yourself that you're in control of your emotions, not the other way around. This is what sets a Stoic man apart. You don't chase, you attract. By standing firm in your values, you demonstrate a strength that cannot be ignored. Number 8, accepting and adapting. At some point, she comes to terms with the fact that you've truly lost interest. This moment marks a turning point, not just for her, but for you too. While it might be painful for her initially, acceptance is often where genuine growth begins. Letting go of someone we care about is never easy, but it can be a profound opportunity for strength and transformation. It's a gradual process, one that fosters resilience, self-reflection, and a deeper understanding of what she can control. In this phase, she's unknowingly practicing some Stoic principles herself, even if she doesn't recognize it as such. By releasing what no longer serves her, she begins to shift her focus toward nurturing her own well-being. For you, this is also a moment of growth. Stoicism teaches us to differentiate between what we can control and what we cannot. You cannot dictate how she feels or how she processes your disinterest, but you can remain composed, kind, and aligned with your values. The most important thing you can do in this situation is to keep your focus inward. While respecting her journey, continue to honor your own path and keep your energy directed toward what matters most to you. Think of this process as an opportunity for both of you to realign. By stepping back and redirecting your energy toward your personal growth, you send a clear message that your time and attention are reserved for what truly aligns with your goals. In a way, this becomes a mirror for her, prompting her to reflect on her own life, goals, and desires. For some women, this realization may become the catalyst for them to regain their confidence, reconnect with passions they neglected, or focus more intently on their personal development. Picture this scenario. After sensing your withdrawal, she feels hurt initially, but later channels that energy into something productive. Perhaps she rekindles an old hobby, advances in her career, or starts focusing on her physical and emotional health. The pain of your absence could ultimately become the spark she needed to propel herself forward in new and meaningful ways. As difficult as it may be to watch, this process reminds us that often adversity is the seed of growth. The takeaway here is that stepping back isn't about intentionally causing harm. It's about making decisions that align with your own growth and values. By choosing to focus on your own journey, you also give her the space to find her own. This kind of respect for her process, while staying true to your own, isn't just the Stoic way, it's the honorable way. Both of you, in your own time, will come to terms with what has transpired and find strength in the process. Number 9, reflecting on your own journey. In the end, this experience isn't just about her reaction, it's also about your own growth. Sometimes losing interest isn't a sign of failure, but a natural evolution of who you are. As you evolve, your priorities shift, your understanding deepens, and what once seemed like a perfect fit no longer aligns with who you've become. This process is a sign of growth, not a failure. As you change, your needs, values, and desires may refine themselves, and naturally, relationships that no longer match this new version of yourself will start to fade. It's not about blame, it's about gaining clarity. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that every relationship offers a lesson. This is a perfect opportunity to reflect on what this relationship taught you. Were there moments that helped you learn more about your boundaries, desires, or values? Perhaps you discovered a need for more assertiveness, patience, or awareness. These lessons are invaluable because they shape the person you are becoming. For her, your detachment might spark feelings of doubt, or she may try to reconnect. This is a natural reaction because we often don't fully appreciate what we have until it's no longer available. But rather than focusing on how she might feel or react, it's important to center yourself. This is your chance to reaffirm your values, stand firm in what truly matters, and not be swayed by guilt or external pressures. Take this time for introspection. What about the relationship no longer resonated with you? Was it a lack of shared goals, emotional connection, or perhaps you simply outgrew the dynamic? Whatever the reason, treat it as a stepping stone towards understanding your authentic self. Growth is never easy, but it's always worthwhile. You might find Marcus Aurelius's wisdom helpful here. Take the good and leave the rest. Appreciate the positive memories and the lessons you've gained, but don't dwell on what could have been. Instead, focus on developing your character. Whether it's through patience, resilience, or self-awareness, every step you take is an investment in becoming the person you're meant to be. As you reflect on this situation, remember that it's not about regret or blame. It's about alignment. By staying true to yourself and learning from each experience, you're paving the way for more meaningful connections in the future, connections that align with your values and your purpose. As we conclude, take a moment to reflect on the deeper lessons we've explored today. Relationships, like life itself, are full of emotions, intentions, and growth. Each phase, whether it's the subtle shift in someone's attention, tests of your resolve, or the eventual transformation through acceptance, offers an opportunity for learning, not just about others, but about yourself. The key takeaway here is that your value isn't determined by someone else's perception of you. It's rooted in how you perceive yourself and the standards you set for your life. Stoicism teaches us that true strength comes from within, by mastering our emotions, remaining composed amidst uncertainty, and focusing on what we can control. When you let go of the need to chase or prove yourself to someone, you reclaim your power. This isn't about being cold or indifferent, it's about being grounded, self-assured, and intentional in every action. Think back to the scenarios we discussed. When someone feels the void of your withdrawal, their reaction reveals more about their inner world than it does yours. Whether they try harder to regain your attention, test your resolve, or attempt to spark jealousy, these behaviors are more about their emotions than your own. Your role isn't to react emotionally or get pulled into drama. It's to remain steady, centered, and true to your values. That kind of composure is rare and deeply respected. Now, let's look at the bigger picture. Every relationship you encounter, whether brief or long-lasting, has something to teach you. Maybe it's about setting clearer boundaries, recognizing harmful patterns, or learning what you truly value in a connection. These lessons might not always be easy, but they are always worth embracing. Marcus Aurelius said, "Take the good and leave the rest. Cherish the moments that added value and let go of those that didn't." Sometimes growth requires letting go, and that's okay. It's all part of becoming the best version of yourself. When emotions feel overwhelming, remember the power of silence, reflection, and patience. Let your actions speak louder than words, and let your peace of mind serve as the foundation for all your decisions. Whether someone chooses to stay, leave, or re-enter your life, your worth should remain solid, unchanged by external circumstances. That is the essence of self-mastery and the path to building authentic, fulfilling relationships. Before you go, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What part of today's video spoke to you the most? Was there a particular stage or example that resonated with your own experiences? Share your insights in the comments below. Your reflections add immense value to this conversation and help us create even more meaningful content. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might benefit from these insights. And don't stop here. Explore the other videos on your screen for more on topics like self-respect, emotional mastery, and building stronger, intentional relationships. These are lessons you won't want to miss. Thank you for joining this journey. Remember, protecting your peace isn't just a choice, it's a commitment to yourself. Stay grounded, stay true to your values, and trust that the right connections will come into your life when you least expect them. Until next time, take care and keep striving for the clarity and strength Stoicism offers. See you in the next video.